Okay, praise God, we're here. We're in Job, chapter 10. Um, what happened last time? Very important chapter in chapter 9. Probably the key verse there is verse 20. If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. If I say I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. Look at how they use that word perverse. It's interesting. But anyway, it's another indicator going along with Solomon's statement that who is sinless, who is perfect, who hasn't sinned. Even Job here, a righteous man, he's even admitting that he's a sinner, I think. He's not perfect. And he's not stupid, and he's not walking into this trap that Bildad has set for him in the previous chapter in 8. He's admitting straight up, I know I'm not perfect, but I didn't, it's not like I robbed a bank or something or murdered some guy, I know I make mistakes, but it's a pretty important verse because I have a video that I haven't posted yet. I don't know if I will post it. It's rather nasty. I get pretty mad in the video, and it's me discussing the sin nature and the need for Christ for all of us, that everybody needs him. It's not, it's just not exclusive to you or to this guy or this denomination, Everyone needs him and needs him to indwell in us. And it's his spirit, it's his power that is the power to change. The sin nature is the natural tendency of us in this world, in this life. Look at the Israelites. They could see God. They could see all of his miracles, and yet they fell away. They made mistakes. They had every opportunity. And still, how? You point your finger at them and you say, how could you do this? You had God literally right in front of you. But then you see human behavior today, and you see that sin nature. And I don't know if I'll ever post that video because it is kind of nasty. But it goes along with this topic that that 20 there. It's a very important verse. I don't want to be in the sin nature, though. The real Christian today wants to be living in the Spirit. It doesn't justify the sin nature that I can do whatever I want because I'm saved, and that's not true. I mean, you can, but it's not testifying of Christ, and it's not speaking of the changed person within you. You are the new man. You need to act like the new man, and you need to be the new man. You need him, more of him, not more of this world, So though I think it's an initial step to say, I am a sinner and I need Christ, That's part of what I say in that video, but I don't know if I'll post it or not, like I said. But it's a key verse there. Job admits that he is not perfect. That's what happened last time. So we're going to start in prayer and then We'll continue to hear Job's rebuttal of Bildad in chapter 10. So, reading from Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Amen. All right, the trial of the millennium continues with Job, chapter 10. Job's answer to Bildad continued, verse 1. My soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. Have you ever been to that point? Do you not want to be here anymore? Are you in that much pain? Do you not enjoy life anymore? You know, when you're 90 and you have all these physical ailments, are you still going to be enjoying life? I mean, put yourself more in Job's shoes, the misery he's been through that Satan has put him through. I think if we put ourselves in Job's position, we'd probably feel similar. You know, it's very difficult to continue praising God amidst that kind of judgment, you know. That's what we're called to do, though, and that's what we may endure here soon. 2. I will say unto God, do not condemn me. Show me wherefore thou contendest with me. So why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? Maybe he's not aware of Satan, you know. 3. Is it good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress, that thou shouldest despise the work of thine hands, and shine upon the counsel of the wicked? Shine upon the counsel of the wicked. It's interesting. See, he's not thinking of Satan, you know, that Satan could be doing most of this, you know. It's an indicator that he's not aware of him. I mean, does this take place before Moses? I don't know. I think that's what it said at the intro, but 4. Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as man seeth? It's another interesting verse. You know, do you see what's right in front of you, or do you see things from another perspective, you know? Like, for example, my friend will take for granted the Bible, or take for granted this thing or that thing, or my viewpoint about a movie, you know. Like, I view the film Die Hard as one of the greatest movies ever made, or Jaws. Let's go with Jaws instead. Richard Dreyfuss says the line, "It's not a shark." And I tend to view the film as this is the embodiment of Satan, is this shark. And how Satan can destroy and just, it's almost an unstoppable force, this shark, until somebody with a humble heart prays to God in those last moments when all hope is lost and the ship is going down. And he's praying to God. He's about to get eaten. And he makes this miraculous shot with You know, the ship's going down, he's sinking. Just think of the fear in that moment. The gun is shaking. And this air tank is jiggling all around in the shark's mouth. And see, my perspective is God saves him in that scene. But there's so many other overtones and symbolism, and there's so much more going on in the movie. That's why the movie is so rewatchable and so good. Like the scene with him eating dinner with his son, and his son imitates him as he's contemplating how does he deal with the shark. You know, all these people are looking to him, and everybody's afraid, and there's these idiot mayors and businessmen and scumbags that want to reopen the beach, to reopen dinner time for Satan. You know, and he's sitting there contemplating. And it's a very beautiful scene, a very loving scene between a father and a son. And that's another symbolism there, or symbolic thing there. And he's just a humble sheriff, and his intent is for the good of the people, to save the people. It's all indicative. It's that's how I view the film. Now, to my other friend, he'll take that line from the literal perspective. It's just a shark, Alex. It's just a big shark. And yeah, he eats some people, but you just shoot it. You blow it up with a rocket launcher. You know, it's nothing to it. There's nothing else going on in the film. You know. And he's very dumb. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be insultive, but there's a lot more going on. This line here, hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as man seeth? It's very interesting, that line. I see things differently from how you see things. And everybody has a different set of eyes, so every perspective is a little different. It's so incredible how God makes us. It's another statement for the infinity, the infinite, amazing incredibleness of God. It's a statement that, or a question that it's beyond my puny brain. 5. Are thy days as the days of man? Are thy years as a man's days? That thou inquirest after mine iniquity, and searchest after my sin? I think he's further responding to Bildad and letting him know how stupid he is. You know, I apologize for continually using stupid and dumb. Should use better, more intelligent words. But he's letting him know that, are you God? You know, do you know everything? Do you see things as God sees them? You know, from every single angle, and every single, the result of this will result in this, and that, and this, and the inverse of the result of the inverse result. Do you know the if-thans of every single thing? Do you know how God knows? Do you know how something can affect one other thing, and then the chain reaction and the reverse? Do you know how it will all play out? And does he manipulate it to further something else? And does he use Satan to do that? Do you know that, Bildad? Do you know that an evil thing maybe can turn out to be a good thing? Is that possible? You know what I mean. I'm not saying to intentionally go into sin or that kind of thing. You should always be running away from that, but how God will use something. Didn't he use that with Jacob? You know? Jacob struggled. He wrestled with God his whole life. God used that situation of polygamy and sin to create the 12 tribes through Jacob. It's only at the far end of his life, when he's very old, that he finally looks back on his life and realizes how God was so powerful in his life and how God was there with him at every turn, saving him and protecting him, even though he didn't deserve it. Do you know? Do you see? Where was I? That thou inquirest after mine iniquity and searchest after my sin? Thou knowest that I am not wicked, and there is none that can deliver out of thine hand. It's a state, a state of being. Just as we emphasized recently my brother and I did a video about walking, fellowship, your fellowship with God versus your salvation. Maybe Job is saved. And, all these guys coming to see him, looking for a reason why he's suffering so, they just immediately assume that Job is wicked. Job, clearly you're walking in sin. That's your problem. That's your problem, Job. When, look at that line, thou knowest that I am not wicked. You've seen me. You've witnessed what I do, what I think, how I am. You know my demeanor. You know how I've been all these years. We've known each other. We had family get-togethers. We went bowling. Come on. You know who I am. But then the second half of that line, there is none that can deliver out of thine hand. That's pretty bitter, but it's true, Thine hands have made me and fashioned me together round about, yet thou dost destroy me. You made me, yet I'm melting. Why did you make me if you're going to just let me melt here? He's got all these rashes and boils all over his body. That's the equivalent of melting. He's melting, okay? That's how I view it anyway. I mean, just think about the pain. You ever had a sore or a rash, Think about that, but your entire body. It sucks. 9. Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast made me as the clay, and wilt thou bring me into dust again? That's what we are. Dust. And we get buried and turned back into dust. Just think of that, He makes us out of dust, a bunch of dirt. I think of the line from the old TV show that has much more relevance today. I'm dirt. Or no, I'm lower than dirt. Dirt laughs at me. It's an obscure reference that no one will get, but still relevant because he's saying dirt is higher than him, but we're all made out of dirt. We're just clay. God makes us out of that, with a lot of other minerals and lots of water, but God makes us, and yeah. Wilt thou bring me into dust again? He wants to die, I think. Hast thou not poured me out as milk and curdled me like cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and hast fenced me with bones and sinews. Thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitation hath preserved my spirit. And these things hast thou hid in thine heart. I know that this is with thee. If I sin, then thou markest me, and thou wilt not acquit me from mine iniquity. 13. Well, 12 and 13, Half of it is in 12 there. I think he's saying, I'm glad you guys came and talked to me and comforted me. It's nice. It's been nice talking to you guys, and you guys have stayed a week here with me and just suffered with me. And thank you for doing that. But I know that you guys have all these side thoughts on your mind. You guys want to accuse me of sin. Well, go ahead. I'm dying anyway. You might as well get it off your chest. "15. If I be wicked, woe unto me! And if I be righteous, yet will I not lift up my head. I am full of confusion, therefore see thou mine affliction." That's the whole problem of this entire trial, right? Is I don't understand why you do this to me, Lord. Why do I suffer? Why does this happen, but then this doesn't happen? Why do you do this, Lord? I don't understand your plan. Thing is, with the concluding thoughts of Job, the last chapters with God making his appearance, that's kind of the realization you have to make at the end is God, you can ask God why all day, and you can point your finger at God and blame him for all your problems and for all these situations and strongholds and walls in your life and your problems, but really we just don't know. And I think there's a verse in the New Testament saying how things work together for his glory, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not saying it right, but the good and the bad maybe can play out in his favor. I don't know how things are going to play out. He's God, though. God is infinite and all-powerful. And I'm just, Job is just a man. I'm just a man. But he doesn't understand why. And he wants to know why. Why, God? He'll get his answer. But he has to listen to these friends who just got to think of the surface answer, when maybe the answer is a lot more deep than he realizes or they realize, 16. For it increaseth. Thou huntest me as a fierce lion, and again thou showest thyself marvelous upon me. Thou renewest thy witnesses against me. There it is, witnesses, another courtroom visualization. And increasest thine indignation upon me. Changes and war are against me. Wherefore then hast thou brought me forth out of the womb? Oh, that I had given up the ghost, and no eye had seen me. That's the same thing as saying, I wish I had never been born. Have you ever said that in anger, in the moment? You're in a miserable situation, you say that. It's kind of insulting to God, because God gave you that opportunity. For somebody to think suicide, why not turn it around and say, well, I don't want to live, but I want to live for God today. That's why I don't think the child of God could commit suicide, because there's still a soul breathing there, a body breathing. Why not use it? Why not take your pain or your suffering or whatever you're carrying? Why not take it to God and say, what can you do with my miserable husk of a life? I hand it to you. What would you like me to do with what's left after I've ruined what you've given me through my decision making, It's the choices we make. But did Job make this decision to be in this situation? No. God's judgment fell on him, just like it can fall on you, fall on me. But I don't question him. I just hand him my life and say, what would you have me do? Don't give up your life. Don't do that. Don't give up. As long as you're still breathing, there's still a use for you. Get up! That's what I'd like to say to Job, in comfort to him. But these bozos probably aren't going to do that. They're just going to continue to accuse him, right? 19. I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness, and to the shadow of death, a land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. Is that a picture of hell? Is that a picture of hell on earth? I think when the end, that's one of the last things before Christ will return, isn't it? Complete and utter darkness. I wonder if that'll have to do with the sun being blocked because of all the radiation clouds or something from us killing ourselves with nuclear bombs. Or does it have to do with atmospheric weather type stuff, blocking the sun out? You have no light. Then you lose all the technology. The electricity is gone. So there's no street lamps, no light, complete darkness. It's hell on earth. That's what hell is separation from God. God literally is light. And so to be separated from him is complete darkness. It's not something he should want, though. He's speaking he's in a lot of pain, He's not thinking logically, though. Look at that line in between there, without any order. Some of these atheists today that think chaos, order out of chaos. A lot of Satanists subscribe to that. They think in the chaos there will be order. It's nuts. God has order. It's called His Bible, His Word. Jesus Christ Himself showed the order. Where we can have a kingdom is through Christ. And we want to follow Him. We want to obey Him. And that includes His law. We want to obey Him. We want to live the Christian life, the believer's victorious life, It does require some work. You have to obey Him. But if we lived by His standards, by God's standards, if they, the Israelites, had lived by those standards to begin with, we would already be in heaven. We would already have that kingdom. But we fail. We utterly fail. But this order out of chaos thing is just nuts. It's like socialism. It's communism. To think you can have order amidst such chaos. There's only one order. It's the order of Christ. And He is light and life. It's through Him. It's not in the darkness. It's not in chaos without any order. I don't look forward to the day when that happens. I hope I'm not here. I want to abide by His order, by Christ, and by His Word. Don't live in this darkness. But He's speaking out of pain and anger and sadness, He's not thinking clearly. If you had boils all over your body, I don't think you'd be thinking clearly either. But God will remind him in the end. Where light is as darkness. It's also another picture of the Antichrist, bearing a torch, light bringer, Lucifer, bearing a false light, Christ literally is light. God is light, the true light, the light of truth. It's pure. It's infinite. It's can't be faked. It's real. Lucifer's light is a fake light. You could see right through it in an instant. And his light will go out. God's light is infinite. It is true. Where the light is as darkness. It speaks of a lie. It's scary. This is very deep, scary stuff here. All right, we get into Zophar's testimony in chapter 11 next time. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.